What if I told you Alexander the Great wasn't the golden-haired hero Hollywood sells? The real Alexander was a 5'4" genius who conquered the world by 30 and left a trail of burned cities, massacres, and broken men. Today, we're tearing down the myths to expose the real man behind the legend. Ready to march? Welcome to BrainyBox, where history's legends are unmasked. I'm your host, and today we are diving into the chaotic, brilliant, and brutal life of Alexander the Great, the man who built an empire spanning 3 continents. Was he a visionary leader, a bloodthirsty tyrant, or both? Let's find out. First, let's shatter Hollywood's lies. Alexander wasn't the towering Adonis. Ancient historians like Plutarch describe him as short, 5'4", clean-shaven, with a melting gaze and a voice that could silence armies. But his appearance was the least interesting thing about him. At 20, he inherited a fractured kingdom. By 30, he'd conquered Persia, Egypt, and parts of India. How? Obsession with Achilles. He slept with Homer's Iliad under his pillow, idolizing the warrior's quest for glory. Temper. He once threw a spear at his own father in a drunken rage. Charisma. His men followed him into deserts, mountains, and battles against impossible odds. This wasn't just a king. This was a force of nature. At 12, he tamed Bucephalus, a wild stallion no adult could ride. His father wept and said, "My boy, you must find a kingdom big enough for your ambitions." Prophetic words. Alexander's army was a killing machine. Let's break down his genius. The phalanx soldiers locked shields and marched in unison, a moving wall of 18-foot spears. Companion cavalry, elite horsemen who smashed enemy lines like a hammer. Speed. His troops marched 20 miles a day in full armor. But his greatest weapon? Psychology. At Tyre, a coastal fortress deemed impregnable, Alexander built a half-mile-long causeway to reach the island. When Tyre fell after 7 months, he crucified 2,000 men and sold 30,000 into slavery. A message to the world. Resist me and die. At Gaugamela, facing 250,000 Persians, Alexander lured Darius into a trap. He feigned a retreat, split the Persian lines, and charged straight at Darius. The Persian king fled, and Alexander took his throne. But after the battle, he executed every soldier who surrendered. Mercy wasn't in his vocabulary. Alexander's dark side was terrifying. After conquering Persepolis, he burned the city to ash. Was it revenge for Persia burning Athens, or a drunken party gone wrong? Historians still debate, but the result was clear. A cultural treasure lost forever. In a drunken rage, he murdered Clytus, his childhood friend and general, for criticizing his godlike behavior. He later wept for days, but the damage was done. His men began to crack. After 8 years of non-stop war, they mutinied at the Ephesus River. Alexander sulked in his tent for 3 days but finally turned back. The message? Even his loyalty had limits. In the Gedrosian desert, he forced 50,000 men to march without water. Thousands died. Why? To outdo the myth of Cyrus the Great. Pride over lives, always. Alexander died at 32, possibly poisoned, possibly from malaria. His empire splintered instantly, but his legacy reshaped the world. Hellenistic Era. Greek culture fused with Egyptian, Persian, and Indian traditions. Cities, founded more than 20 Alexandrias, including Egypt's iconic metropolis, the Great Myth. Caesar wept at his statue. Napoleon carried his biography into battle. But was he worth the cost? To the West, he's a hero. To Iran, he's the accursed. The truth? He was both. A genius who moved history forward on a river of blood. So, what's your verdict? Was Alexander a visionary, a monster, or the ultimate anti-hero? Let's debate in the comments. If you're hooked on history's twisted tales, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. We're exposing Genghis Khan's darkest secrets next week. And remember, behind every great man is a story they don't want you to hear. Stay curious. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Primary sources include Ariane, Plutarch, and modern historians like Robin Lane Fox.